Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This is your boy Fly Island Guy. So this is probably like my fourth time trying to record this video, thanks to very inconveniently timed crash to desktops, or crashes to desktop. So hopefully fourth time is a charm, but I guess I don't need to bother you guys with all that. Today we are back at Cranwell RAF Air Force Base in the UK, and we're going to be heading over to a city called Basel in Switzerland, but the airport is in France, interestingly enough. So we are going to head there now. Cruising altitude is going to be 38,000 feet. And the flight time is roughly 1 hour 30 minutes. Alright. Aircraft is already started, so we're just gonna go flaps 15. Taxi lights on. I'm gonna set my altitude. And man, let's hope that this is the flight that I could actually complete. The last flight that I took, the crash happened pretty much right before I landed, so yeah, I'm not too sure what's causing it. I did install an add-on, but I think it has more to do with World Update 6. So we'll see what's happening. We're departing runway 26 today, and let me turn these guys on. Let's just go for a straight out departure. Our rotate speed today is 103. We're carrying like near capacity for our cargo, and rotates.
Airborne time log.
Yeah, so we're carrying near capacity for our cargo, and then we've got like contingency fuel and all that kind of thing, or that kind of stuff. So that's added to our weight a good amount. So gears up. We'll go into the climb tent. Flaps up as well. So we'll go autopilot on. Let's do flight level change so we can hold our speed. Gonna go heading select so we could turn towards our flight plan, and then we'll go into nav mode. So overall, the ground textures actually look pretty freaking amazing. Look at that, man. This is rural England. Just looking at the bomb, I must say. Alright, so once we kind of get on our established flight path, I'm going to just have a quick chat about our destination today, which is Basel, Switzerland. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But yeah, that's where we're heading. Let's see. Shoot, I totally forgot to fire up Navigraph. Okay. New flight. Okay, so here's our flight plan for Navigraph. There's like an issue with kind of one of the airways here, so that's why there's a break, but just ignore that, it's not important anyway. So essentially we're going to be heading down here to Basel. The interesting thing is that Basel is a town in Switzerland, or it's a city in Switzerland, but the actual airport is in France. So I was kind of confused about that initially, because here in Navigraph it says the airport name, Basel Mulhouse, or Mulhouse, I don't know how to pronounce that, is in France. And when I looked up Basel, they say Basel's in Switzerland, which it is. Even if you look at the border right here, Basel is within the border of Switzerland, not in France, but yeah, it's the airport's in France, which is kind of weird. Oh, shoot, I'm supposed to go in nav mode. There we go. Is this on the right here? Let's go to this point. So it looks like a little city here down below. Don't know where that is, but that also looks pretty amazing. Let's see if I can find out on... I think that city is called Born. Looks like that's where we just passed. So man, this is all new to me. Alright. So, I'm hoping that things are okay this flight. I literally have no idea what was going on with the crashes. Have not really experienced them before in flight sim, especially not that frequently. So just some quick notes on Basel. So let's bring this up. So as I was looking around, I saw this website that said 12 reasons you should visit Basel, Switzerland at least once. So there's a bunch of cool little facts here. And let's see. So just to talk about Basel, it says Basel's nestled on the Rhine River in Switzerland, and is Switzerland's third largest town, and partly because of its proximity to France and Germany, has a strong sense of its own identity. So you'll see this in the city's adoration of all things art and its colorful, raucous yearly Fastnacht festival that is a must-see. And here are some of the reasons why everyone should visit the city at least once. So one of the first reasons is that it has a great art scene. So Basel's citizens love art. In 1967 they voted to buy some Picasso paintings, and the famous Spaniard found out. He was so touched that he donated 3 of his works to the city cost-free. This tells you all you need to know about the Baselers and the love of culture, which is on display, and in the city's many art museums. The city also hosts Art Basel, the world's premier art exhibition. So on top of that, it's home to some fantastic food markets, particularly at Marktplatz in the city's historic old town, where you can pick up a lot of fresh foods, and some local delicacies. And if that doesn't pique your appetite, the delightful odors of Basel's indoor market may. Specialties from all over the world are brought together under one massive domed roof. So it's kind of weird that they said the delightful odors. I never really associated odor with something delightful. So as mentioned before, they have the Basler Fastnacht, which is Switzerland's biggest festival. And it's a 3-day festival, and they say someone say this is the only reason to visit Basel. The carnival kicks off cold and early at 4 a.m. with mass musicians parading through the streets of Basel's old town, and continues in the same vein with parades, satirical poets, and plenty of beer and food on offer. And it falls on the first Monday after Ash Wednesday every single year. I don't know if that happened this year or last year because of COVID, but hopefully they were able to do it. Someone said it's linguistically fascinating. Stuttering. It's linguistically fascinating because it's a bilingual city, on account of it being so close to both France and Germany. It's pretty much right at the border of those two countries, and there isn't a line that cuts the city dividing Swiss-German, who makes up most speakers, and French, but there is still an interesting mix going on that'll strain your comprehension. If you want to brush up on either language or both, Basel is the perfect place to go. Alright, just double check. Alright, so haven't reached our cruising altitude yet, but we're getting there. Another cool fact is that Roger Federer was born there, so the golden boy of tennis. Roger Federer was born at Basel's Cantonal Hospital. And if you visit Basel during the tennis season over the next 2 years, I don't know when this article came out, but over the next 2 years, whenever that article is put out, you may get to see the legend in action, since he recently committed to play at the Basel indoor tournament for the next 3 events until 2019. So I guess this is in 2017 this article came out. It boasts around 300 days of sunshine every year, which I have no idea what that's like. Actually, I lie. I'm from an island. I was born in an island, so I know exactly what that's like. However, being in Halifax, that is not a thing. In Nova Scotia, Canada here. Because You pretty much only get sunny weather from maybe April, May until about now, mid-September, and then it's just a lot of clouds, rain and snow outside of that. So I know last year, the first snowfall of the year happened square on November 1st. And it was cold before that as well. So for us, the cool weather should be kicking in right about now. But if you go to Basel, 300 days of sunshine every single year, so even outside of summer, you're likely to get a little bit of sun. They also say the Basel Zoo is one of the best. So the zoo first opened its doors in 1874 and is the oldest and one of the largest in Switzerland. Animals from all across the world can be seen, including many endangered ones as well. The zoo is non-profit and funds go towards helping conservation and breeding programs around the world. And in 2024, which is just 3 years from now, the zoo aims to open the Oceanium, which is a large aquarium dedicated to showcasing the world's oceans and inspiring people to learn about the vital role in our planet's Earth.
Altitude.
Alright. About to hit 38,000 feet. Basel also is great and has quirky museums, which doesn't surprise me. Across the city there are 40 museums to choose from, including the world's largest collection of stuffed teddy bears, if that's a thing. An altogether unusual walk through the history of pharmacies and a top-notch natural history museum, just in case you didn't get your fix at the zoo. They also have tons of historic architecture, so Basel's history is written in the streets of its old town. Somebody did not proofread those articles, a lot of mistakes here. The curiously red Rathaus, or the town hall, with its elaborately decorated inner courtyard will leave you puzzled, while the Basel Cathedral will leave you in awe, particularly when you gaze out across the city from the Pfalz, a terrace overlooking the Rhine River. It's home to some of the best theaters in the country that covers all the bases with drama, opera, ballet, colorful stage productions, and modern takes on old shows. And they have two theaters, which is the musical theater Basel and the theater Basel. Apparently also, the locals know how to celebrate Christmas. During the festival season, Basel spares no expense as the city is illuminated by fairy lights and its streets lined with over 100 Christmas trees, and the famous Strasse becomes one of Europe's longest displays of decorations, creating a truly magical shopping experience. While Basel's incredibly popular market, spread over 2 squares in the historic old town, is one of the biggest and best in Switzerland, Christmas is a Basel experience that is not one to be missed. And also, it's the perfect place to end your Swiss trip. Because it sits in the corner of Switzerland, France, and Germany. After you've explored the city, you can easily access the rest of Central Europe by plane, train, or whatever mode of transport you prefer. You can easily reach Frankfurt, Paris, or Milan in around 4 hours by high-speed train. So that's the town of Basel, folks. That's where we're going to be heading if the sim does not crash on us again. So hopefully I'll be able to get back, and I'll see you there all the way down to the ground. Alright, I'm going to take a break. I'll be back on descent. We'll discuss our approach into Basel, and I will talk to you then. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've started our descent into Basel. Let's just take a quick look at our approach for today. We're going to be doing the runway 33 X-ray approach. Just basically going to have us coming from Altic and just going to be coming down and making the procedure turn back towards DME around 17 or so. And then we're going to be doing the ILS landing onto runway 33. Of course, the flight plan doesn't like follow this exact path, but it's similar to what we'll be doing. However, the flight plan pretty much has us coming straight to this point and then turning back. So at some point we're gonna have to veer off and then like navigate our way back towards that. We're at 19,000 feet now, or just above 19,000 feet, and descending. Overall has been a pretty smooth flight. I'm also worried about the end. I just really want to be able to finish this flight because I'm tired of flying it over and over again. We already have our minimum set. The localizer frequency has been tuned. So overall, we're pretty much in a good spot for landing. I just want to kind of get all of that out the way so I can focus strictly on landing. We're descending to 5,700 feet, and that's pretty much where that's pretty much the altitude we'll be at for the last few waypoints before we kind of actually maneuver for final. Pretty excited about kind of doing this approach. I mean, we're actually in Europe, you guys. We're in Europe and we're moving around. This has been a long time coming, and I've been talking about it probably for about a good 2 or 3 months now. So it's good that we're finally here, making money in the CJ4 in Europe. So I think we're gonna go maybe to level 8. Just moving around in Europe, and then from there I'll ask you guys like where we should go next. I'm wondering if we should do maybe Africa, or I don't know, Africa, Asia, I don't know. I don't see much people doing any flights in Africa, which is sort of weird, but I don't know. Alright, so localizer is pretty much tuned now. As you can see, it's showing up here. So when I was kind of determining my descent, because right now VNAV isn't working. Not VNAV isn't working, but the top of the descent was calculated like way too late. I don't know why it did that, but it did. So I pretty much had to calculate when I wanted to start my descent. And so that required me to go down to, descend at about 1,500 feet per minute to get to the initial approach fix. and yeah, from there it's pretty much, once you hit the initial approach fix, you're pretty much staying at 5,700 feet until you capture the localizer. So that makes things a little easier. I'm just keeping an eye on the map right now. The airport should be showing up. The airport should be kind of off in the distance, like out here somewhere. So I'd love to be able to at least spot the airport once. I know the last time I tried to do this flight, I wasn't quite able to do it because of cloud cover, and probably going to run into something similar here. So let's see. So technically we are still in France right now. Actually, we're going to be in France the whole time. As I mentioned before, the airport, Basel's airport, is in France. It's not actually in Switzerland. So coming up on our left in front of us here will be the city or town of, I don't know how to pronounce this. If it's French, it's going to be something like Mulhouse, M-U-L-H-O-U-S-E. So this is it here to our left. And we dip below 10,000, so landing lights can come back on. That's taxi lights, that's landing lights. So now the airport should be directly off to our left. Let's see if I can get a better view. Yeah, I still can't see it. Things are obscured by the clouds, fortunately, but I'm pretty sure the airport's gonna probably be like out here somewhere. Not a big deal though. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to go into heading mode, and I think I'm going to probably try and plot a course that's somewhere sort of parallel to where we'll be running. Well, sorry, parallel to kind of
altitude,
the final approach. Because we want to be able to kind of ease the plane back towards the localizer. The way it's set up right now, this isn't going to work. Like it's just too sharp a turn. Also going to set the altimeter. We've crossed below the transition altitude, which is 7,000 feet. Here at Basel, so we're going to go 3009. Alright. And heading mode now. Let's go about there. It's about where I want to go. Alright, let's go flaps 15. And I'm going to brief the passengers. Well, I'm not going to do it, but you can brief the passengers that we're about to land.
May I have your attention, please? We will be landing shortly. Please turn off all portable electronic devices, stow tables, secure luggage, and loose articles. Return your seat to the upright and outboard position. Extend your headrest and fasten your lap belt and shoulder harness. After landing, please remain in your seat with your lap belt and shoulder harness securely fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop in the parking area. Thank you.
Alrighty. Let's see how things go. This is kind of a moment of truth. It was around this point that the sim crashed last time. See KLM taking off in the distance. Alright. Getting a little fast now. Cool. So we're just kind of cruising through the clouds right now. I think we'll go flaps 35. Once we start our turn towards the localizer. You can see our glide path is now active as well. Now what's pretty interesting about here is the terrain is sort of like hilly. So I gotta kind of watch that. I remember when I was last doing this approach, it kind of took us near to a hill as we were turning back. We were kind of uncomfortably close, so just need to keep an eye on that. This looks amazing though, this down here. Looks like some rivers, or a river going through a town. Absolutely beautiful country. And Switzerland was one of the places to get updated in World Update 6. But I'm not sure kind of what parts of Switzerland were done. I think it was Switzerland, Germany. I don't know why this leg feels so long. Just try to get to this final point. Even before it felt that way as well. Alright, so if you look at the glide path, we're kind of moving above it now. Well, sorry, moving below it. So when it comes to this indicator, if you're right in the middle, you're exactly on the glide path. If it goes above, you're too low, and if it goes below, you're too high. So right now it's going to move to above, or we're going to be below the glide path because the triangle's going to be moving up, and that's actually fine. Normally when you're doing the ILS approach, you intercept the glide path from below, which makes sense. So you want to get on it and then follow it down. This is absolutely amazing. The terrain just looks awesome. This looks awesome. Alright, so we're going to be starting our turn back soon. I'm going to probably say another minute or two. Not too much to see from the wing right now, since we're pretty much just sitting steady in the clouds. Getting a little bit of shake, a little bit of turbulence, but it's all good. Just a little bit. Alright, this is what I'm talking about right now. We're starting to get extra hilly, and we are a little close for comfort. So we're going to go ahead and start our turn right about now. Let me go like here. That looks awesome. Alright. So we're getting a little bit of turbulence now. Guess because of our proximity to the mountains. And what I'm going to do, I think, so let's see. No, actually I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and now we're going to turn back. Let's come about here. And I'm going to arm approach mode. Yeah. And let's set our nav source to loc 1 now. And I believe this should do the trick. Never 100% sure what the ILS approach is there. Really wish you could get out the clouds. There we go. Look once captured. So we officially on the localizer now. I'm gonna slow down and we are gonna go flaps 35 as soon as we hit this point here.
Landing gear.
Flaps 35, gear down. Airport is straight ahead of us. And we are established. We're landing now. We're on the glide path. We're descending towards the runway now. So all I need to do now is just watch my speed, make sure we don't get too slow. Our approach speed is, I believe it's like 106, 108. It's 108. Yeah. VRF speed is 102. So this is the town of Basel ahead of us. I'm just gonna try and pull up the airport. Info. Let's see. So that's an interesting map here. It's got a bunch of like restrictions on where you can land, where certain aircraft aren't permitted. I guess because of the size of the taxiways, maybe. But yeah, looks like we'll be heading right off the runway. Looking good speed-wise. Right on our approach speed. Let's just enjoy the view of Basel. Off to our right. I can tell the scenery hasn't been loaded in properly. We've got a bunch of very odd shaped buildings here. That's a shame. So I'm not sure when they'll fix that, but yeah, it's just a lot of weird, a lot of weird looking buildings. Yeah, that kind of sucks. He used to have the same issue in Toronto as well. Alright, well, that was disappointing. As far as the landing's concerned, though, everything there looks great. Usually this side of Basel doesn't look too bad. There's not much to see on this side.
Wind 260 and 4 knots.
That side, not the best.
$500.
Just gonna let the ILS bring us down nice and close to the runway. Should be approaching minimum soon. I'll take over.
Autopilot. Minimums.
A lot of runway to work with here.
Landing time log.
Very hard to see the. Alright. Take this guy here on our right. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Basel. Go flaps up. Taxi lights on. That's not coming on. Oh, there we go. Strobes on as well. Flight director can come off. Kind of disappointed that those buildings didn't load in properly. It looked horrible, man. And it's sort of weird when you're like flying over a big city and you're kind of excited to see it, and then it just kind of scenery just looks like crap. So not really too sure why it didn't load up properly there, but it's not too much I could do about it. frame rates have taken a beating for sure. Just trying to see where we can park around here. They're going to take us to one of the gates, which is not something I normally do at these big airports, but might as well, you know, let's act like a big airline today. Just park right here.
Engine off time log. Flight is finished. It has been monitored by on air.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed this flight. A little disappointed at the scenery, but not too much we can do about that. Hopefully next time it looks a little better, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, in the meantime, welcome to Basel here in Switzerland / France, I guess, because we're still in France. And we're going to go enjoy some of that nightlife and some of that food that they talked about, and we'll prepare for the next flight. I'm just glad I was able to complete it without it crashing, because that was super disappointing. Alright, so this is your boy Fly Island Guy. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the next one. As usual, stay safe, and most of all, stay fly. I'm out. Peace.